Well, thank you for joining us on this June webinar. Today we'll be featuring our integration with Adobe Premiere Pro. We'll be recording this webinar and we'll be placing it on our website over the next coming days. So a bit about myself. My name is Elton Carneiro. I'm the indirect channel manager for FileCatalyst. I am responsible for all partnerships from an ISV as well as a channel perspective. And once again, thank you for joining us on this partner showcase. The webinar will show you, how we can accelerate and distribute content from within Adobe Premiere Pro to any FileCatalyst server globally. Again, we'll be running these webinars on a regular basis to share with you our partner solutions and show you how we integrate with them. A bit about FileCatalyst. We're an Ottawa-based software company. We've been around since the year 2000. We've always provided file transfer solutions, and since 2004, we've been focusing on accelerated file transfer solutions. We're an Emmy-Award winning company. Our products are horizontal. They're a good fit for any industry who needs to reliably and securely and efficiently move data over the WAN, all while doing it in an efficient manner, i.e., accelerated and maximizing your bandwidth. The verticals we sell into include media and broadcast, enterprise, oil and gas, medical, and so on. Some of our customers in the media and broadcast space include NBC, the SNL, Jimmy Fallon, Sunday Night Football, Harpo, CBS, DreamWorks, Time Warner, BBC, to name a few. On the agenda for today, we'll be showing you the FileCatalyst technology, a quick intro. Again, this is something that we've covered in many webinars, so I'll be going over this fairly quickly. I'll talk about the FileCatalyst Transfer Agent, the new product that we released last year, and show you how this has been integrated into Adobe Premiere Pro. We'll do a quick demo of the panel within Premiere Pro, and then talk about some of the next steps FileCatalyst will be taking with Adobe Premiere Pro, as well as we'll have some time for some Q&A. So at a high level, what do we do? FileCatalyst provides an enterprise-grade software solution that allows movement of large data around the world. It's a patent-pending technology that allows for accelerated file transfer using a unique UDP-based approach. FileCatalyst simplifies complicated large file transfers for the enterprise end user. FileCatalyst has an easy-to-use tool with an intuitive user interface. FileCatalyst also provides all the tools for integrating its technology into other products, as well as existing enterprise infrastructures. FileCatalyst provides all the management, security, and monitoring tools required to ensure data is moved efficiently, securely, and reliably across corporate networks. The FileCatalyst solution is also available on all major cloud vendors, Amazon, OpenStack, Windows Azure, as well as localized regional cloud. So TCP has been around since the 70s. It's sort of the means of transferring files, or transferring data over the internet. It's meant for small data, hence it's used, over the web, emails, and so on. However, when it comes to sending large files, it's really slow and inefficient. It sends data in a very serial process, and data needs to be acknowledged before more data is being sent. And as you add latency and packet loss, it slows down the transfer. Looking at FileCatalyst, we utilize the UDP protocol, which is really fast but inefficient by default. So we've built an algorithm and technology on both sides to make sure we maximize your bandwidth when it comes to file transfer. Some of the bandwidth improvements with FileCatalyst, you can see that regardless of latency, we'll basically maximize your bandwidth and transfer files as full as your line speed. So as you can see here, some examples with a 1 gigabit and a 10 gigabit per second connection. You'll see that FileCatalyst will transfer file in far less time than FTP does. Some of the protocol considerations, we play fair with other traffic on the network, so we don't oversaturate your link. We can transfer up to 10 gigabits per second on a single stream. We can also transfer lots and lots of small files really efficiently. We have technology and algorithms built into the product that allow you to do compression on the fly as well as incremental transfers. We also have a lot of tools that can allow you to integrate into other products. So looking at our flagship product, this is the FileCatalyst Direct solution. It's a server client model. It can do transfers up to 10 gigabits per second. It's a pure software solution. The server sits in a central location and can be attached to any storage. We also have support for Amazon S3. On the client side, we have a number of client applications, the hot fold applications, for automated transfers, Express a client for ad hoc transfers, our web technologies, including our transfer agent, which we'll be looking at today. We have APIs as well as our mobile clients. So a bit about Transfer Agent. It's an alternative to our web applets. It runs on Windows, Mac, and Linux. It's an HTML5 view that allows you to control startup transfers, monitor transfers, and again it can do both uploads and downloads. Since the transfer is happening outside the browser can be closed down in that sense. So taking a look at our ecosystem, FileCatalyst has partnered with a number of products out there, including, we'll be looking at Adobe today, but we have a number of other partners in the media and broadcast space that we have partnered with. Again, if you're interested in looking at a partnership, by all means, reach out to us and we can discuss, how we can partner with you. Or if you're looking to get more information on any of our partners on this list, by all means, feel free to contact us at any point and we can sort of share this information with you. So now to the meat of this webinar, it's the integration in Premiere Pro. So FileCatalyst is the only available accelerated file transfer panel in Premiere Pro. The question is, why do we go down this path? Over the past few years, we've noticed that teams are getting geographically dispersed. We have remote editors across the world who are working on footage. They need to send it back to headquarters, whether it be a broadcast or a post house. Media files getting larger and larger, and ease of use, having people able to transfer files from a single interface opposed to having them switch contexts, switch interfaces, and creating sort of an out of application experience for them. So we decided to look into ways to making it easier for the editor working on within Premiere Pro to be able to transfer the files they're working on, transfer the sequences and rough cuts right from the Premiere Pro to any FileCatalyst server globally. And how we do this? So Adobe Premiere Pro supports HTML5 panels. So we basically built up a panel that interfaces with our FileCatalyst Transfer Agent. The panel is built entirely in HTML5 and JavaScript. And at this point, we can take a look at a demo. So I'll just escape that. Switch screens here. So we'll launch Premiere Pro here. And at the same time, I'll launch a FileCatalyst server so we can talk to a local running server. So I'll click on a new project. And in Premiere Pro, let's call this the webinar project. Click OK. Now again, we will not be demoing the functionalities of Premiere Pro here. I'll show you quickly how to edit a file. However, we will be looking at the integration between FileCatalyst and Adobe. So we're focusing on the panel. So let's get a couple of media items into my project here. So let me just go into users. And let's go into document here and presentation. So we have our file transfer ninja video that we used at NAB this year. So we'll be playing with that. So let's go ahead and start it up. So let's get some clips here. Make some sequences. Add them to the timeline. We can go in and create as many sequences as we want. take another in marker, another out marker. We can add it to our timeline. Again, we can go in and create mix and match from various videos. So if we go in and look at our, take that for example, mark it in, and then let's go and play it for a few seconds and give it an out marker, drag that in there as well. So now we can actually play the sequence from our timeline, and so we have a quick little sequence here that we can use for the demo and timeline. So now let's take a look at the panel. So in terms of the panel, to add the panel to Adobe, the first thing you need to do is open up the extension manager. So Adobe has something called extension manager. The FileCatalyst panel is available as a ZXP file, which you can then use to install into Adobe. Again, this is going to be available off our website fairly soon. So to install the panel, you just click on install from the extension manager. You select the panel, and again, it's the FileCatalyst panel, and you hit open, and it will install for you. Once it's installed, you'll see it listed over here, and now it's available to be used. To access the panel from Premiere Pro, you go to your window, go to your extensions, and click on FileCatalyst panel. So this will bring up the panel as you can see it. You have your host name, your port, username, password. These are the fields that are all part of the FileCatalyst server configuration. So if you look here, you have a user account, you'll know your ports you're connecting to, and so on. So let's go and try and configure this to talk to my local server. 2021, let's call it user pwd. So now I have a sequence that I want to work with. The next step I want to do is I want to render it out, and basically I can use any of the presets defined in Media Encoder. So all these presets are available to you. You can choose any one of them depending on what format you want to sort of render the sequence in. So let's use DNX as a quick example here. So let's use DNX 100. When you hit render active sequence, FileCatalyst will launch Adobe Media Encoder for you, as well as launch the transfer agent. So let's go ahead and render active sequence, and you'll notice that Media Encoder automatically launches. You'll notice that the video will be transcoded into the format you wish to you selected, and once this is done, FileCatalyst panel will pick up the encoded file and transfer it off to the FileCatalyst server. So this is happening really quickly now. So once that's done, I'm gonna hit always allow, get prompted for the server, and then you'll notice the transfer happening. So this is again transferring locally to my FileCatalyst server. So if I open up my FileCatalyst server, go to my users and hit browse, I'll notice that the video ftn video9.mxf file ends up in my home directory for the user account I selected. If you want to, FileCatalyst panel also supports multiple transfers that can happen at the same time. So if suppose you want to encode it in DNX as well as send it to YouTube, FileCatalyst panel will support that as well. So you can have as many concurrent transfers as as you need, and you don't have to wait for one to finish before you set up the other. So that's pretty much about the panel. So let me just go back to the PowerPoint here. Okay. So in terms of the roadmap, right now the panel is available on Mac. We will be adding support for Windows, hopefully before IBC. If not by IBC, we'll be releasing our Windows support. After that, we'll be looking at adding the ability to transfer files to any email address using workflow. So right now we have a FileCatalyst workflow product which allows you to ingest files into central location as well as distribute files to anyone with an email address. We'll be adding that support into the panel as well. So I guess it's time for some Q&A. I invite our audience to ask any questions they may have. There is a question panel in the GoToMeeting webinar. As questions come in, we'll read them out so that everyone can hear the question, and then I will answer them. So the question is, will we be able to pre-configure the panel to desired settings, i.e. the server account we want the client to interface with, export settings, etc. for the user? So right now the panel has been designed so the user can specify which server they want to. In terms of sending out the settings, we've not discussed that as sort of a feature, but it's definitely something we can consider, moving forward with the panel. Right now, you'd have to give the user the user access to his account, server IP, port, as well as if they're going to be using SSL or not. We can look into this feature in the future as well. Got another question here. Are there any speed or performance differences between using any of the clients versus the panel? No. So again, since the FileCatalyst panel is using the transfer agent to transfer files and transfer agents into a FileCatalyst client, there are no performance degradation or speed degradation when using the panel. The FileCatalyst will transfer files at full line speed when using the panel as well. Another question is that can I close down Premiere Pro after I set up a transfer? Absolutely. So once again, since the transfer is happening outside Premiere Pro through the FileCatalyst Transfer Agent, you can close down Premiere Pro as long as the transfer agent is still running. The transfer will happen just fine. And any more questions? Yeah. Yeah. So there's another question come in. Is there major differences in the way popular NLE work with FC? What do you think we should look for? So right now, if you look at NLEs out there, we've integrated with Adobe being one of them. We are looking at integrating with other NLEs, but in terms of functionality of an NLE, we wouldn't be able to comment on that. But we can definitely assist you with in terms of if you're looking for a specific NLE and looking at integration options with FileCatalyst, it's definitely something we can discuss and help you go down that path with. When the transfer is completed, does the user get any notification in the Premiere Pro UI? Yeah, so once a transfer is completed, the user will notice that the transfer will be marked as complete. We do have plans on adding an email notification so the user can specify an email that gets notified once transfer completes. Again, this will be coming in, again, hopefully before the IBC or around IBC timeframe this year. Yeah, I'm not sure. I'll give it a few seconds. Any more questions? Yeah. So there's another question. In terms of deployment options, can these settings be deployed using Adobe approved deployment methods? This is still in discussion with Adobe. We are looking at finding ways to get this deployed through Adobe. Once we sort of finalize on that, this will be something we can share with all our users and so on. So right now, the answer is no, but we are looking at something like that with Adobe. Yeah, we got time for a few more questions. If anyone else has any questions, now is a chance. Yep, we have another one coming. Yeah, so again, another question. What are the installation options for multiple machines? So The panel can be installed on any computer, and again, this is free of charge. You don't have to pay for anything to install the panel, and you can install it on as many nodes as you wish to install it on. The panel will all connect into the FileCatalyst server defined. Again, each user can have a special location on the FileCatalyst server they can upload to. In terms of the client options, the panel needs the FileCatalyst Transfer Agent installed as well on the same machine. So that's a requirement. And again, the Transfer Agent is again free. It's a free client. You can install as many copies as you wish. There is no additional charge. And I guess that's one of the key differentiators between FileCatalyst and other products out there. All our client applications are free. You don't pay for the client installations. So in terms of mass deployment, so there's a question about mass deployment. If there's a way to push out the panel to Adobe, I'm sure the FileCatalyst panel will support that as well. If that doesn't answer your question, please feel free to email us after the webinar, and we can definitely find a solution for what you're looking for. Yeah, I guess at this point we don't have any questions coming in, so I'd like to thank you guys very much for joining us on this June webinar. We look forward to seeing you again. And again, if you have any questions or if you'd like to get more information on this, please feel free to reach out to us, and we can provide you information you need. Well, thank you once again.